I'm Kim, the Abundant Traveler, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I put out laid-back luxury travel videos encouraging you to go out there, buy that plane ticket, and go see the world. If you're a subscriber, thank you so much for being back. I really appreciate your support. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you everything that you need to do while you're visiting Malaga, Spain on the Costa del Sol. I am, no kidding, in love with Malaga, and this video will share the best food tour, the best class you can take, the best place to go to flamenco, as well as some great restaurants, a few tips on food, and everything that you need to do while you're in town. I know in this video I'm sharing all the top things to do in Malaga, but you might want to go to the description below and join the tribe. I always have extra tips and tricks and ideas for all of my people that are on my email list. Let's start with my two favorite things that I did while I was visiting the city. Number one, I went on one of the best food tours I've ever been on with Spain Food Sherpas. My guide was Javier, and he was absolutely incredible. Malaga and the Costa del Sol are known for their amazing seafood, their delicious calamari and gambas and oysters and sardines and all of that. So going on a food tour is super, super important. My recommendation is always do your food tour on the first day or the first night that you're in town. Not only do you get to meet some interesting people, you know, everybody likes to chat and talk and get to know each other when it's all about food and wine. Additionally, you get a little bit of the lay of the land of the city, as well as tips and tricks for while you're visiting. The second thing that you have to do while you are in Malaga is take a private flamenco class. I went on a private flamenco class with Sonia Marin, who is of Flamenco Son. She has online courses as well, so you could actually go online to flamencoson.com and sign up for one of her introductory courses and watch all of the videos. Additionally, you can hire her to do an online class with you privately. She is a wonderful teacher, a wonderful human being, and I cannot speak highly enough about working and taking a class with Flamenco Son. I sucked at flamenco. I love to dance, but I sucked at flamenco. But I'm going to keep trying. And the other tour that I took that was fantastic was with Meet Malaga Tours. The owner, Samuel, he took me around on a walking tour my first day in town, gave me some restaurant suggestions, told me about the sights and some of the things that I have to see while I'm in town. My suggestion is when you first hit town, do a walking tour and do a food tour. In Malaga, you got to go with Spain Food Sherpas and go with Meet Malaga Tours for those two tours. So there are several interesting sights to see while you're in Malaga. The first is Larios Street. It is the big pedestrian zone. It is gorgeous. It is lined with all kinds of shopping. And they had these beautiful canopies over the top. It feels like you're inside, but you're actually outside. And if you're a shopper, which if you're in Spain, you should always be a shopper, there are some great shoe shops and some wonderful clothing stores on Calle Nuevo, which is the new street, which is just next door to Larios Street. There are some great bohemian shops as well, some hat shops and some bathing suit shops in the center of town in the historic area as well. Girls, it is definitely a city where you can shop till you drop. Some of the top sights to see, it is such a unique city because it is one of the oldest cities in the world. So we have remnants of the Roman Empire, we have remnants of the Moorish Empire, and we have remnants of modern day Spain. You have an amphitheater from Roman times that was actually recently excavated. They were building some buildings and found this beautiful Roman amphitheater. Next to the Roman amphitheater, you have the Moorish fort called Alcazaba. Alcazaba is actually a citadel, and this particular fort was created in around the 11th century. It's not as well maintained as the Alhambra, but it is worth going to see. It's relatively inexpensive as well. It's a kiosk, and I think it's only €3.50. I do suggest that you go there when it's not too hot, because in the Alcazaba it is not protected from the sun. And I went the day that it was really hot in the middle of the day, and I had to go find shade everywhere I was. On top of the Alcazaba is actually the castle, which is the Moorish castle that was once connected to the Alcazaba. And the castle is called Gibralfaro. You cannot go from the Alcazaba up to the castle. You actually have to come down and around, and it's about a 20-minute walk up a zigzag path, or you can take bus number 35, I think, from the gardens downtown to get up there. It's a beautiful view, and you get to see the Moorish castle as well. Malaga has changed quite a lot since 2000, when the new mayor, well, in 2000 he was new, Francisco de la Torre, changed the face of Malaga. You'll see lots of tourists now, you'll see amazing restaurants, you will see many, many more museums than you ever did before the year 2000. The most famous museum is Picasso Museum. It's one of the only 3 Picasso museums in the world. Picasso was actually born in Malaga, even though he lived most of his life in France. Some people think that he was Italian with the name Picasso, and some people think he's French because he spent most of his life in France. He's actually from Malaga, Spain, and the Picasso Museum is one of the only 3 in the world. Definitely worth giving it a visit. My favorite room was the Musketeers room. I just loved how bright and vibrant those particular paintings were. Once the Picasso Museum came to Malaga, many other museums came as well. There's actually a branch of the Paris Pompidou Contemporary Art Museum. There is another contemporary art museum. There is a museum in the cathedral. There is actually a Russian museum that came out of St. Petersburg as well. Each particular museum has a certain window of time during the week, either a couple hours a day or on a certain day, where it is free. So if you're on a budget, make sure to go online and check out when it is free to visit all of the museums. One of the most beautiful sights to see in Malaga is actually the cathedral. It is an overwhelming cathedral that is in the heart of the historical center of town. It is really beautiful inside. It is quite large, and what's interesting is it only has 1 spire instead of 2. I think they ran out of money. I'm not sure if they ran out of money or a earthquake knocked it down. I can't remember, so I'm gonna have to Google it at the end of this video. While you're at the cathedral, make sure to buy a ticket that is not only the entrance to the cathedral, but the entrance to the steps up to the rooftop, where you can go see all of Malaga from the top of the cathedral. It's really, really beautiful up there. While we're on top of the world in Malaga, on top of the cathedral, let's talk about some other views that you get from the city. There are actually some amazing rooftop bars. I stayed at the AC Malaga Palacio, which is a Marriott property. Go Marriott, I'm such a Marriott girl. They have a wonderful terrace or terraza rooftop bar there that you can see the port. There are actually a couple of hostels as well that have rooftop bars. Go to rooftopbars.com. They give you a complete list for every city that you're going to visit. Are you headed to Malaga and the Costa del Sol? Well, make sure to go to the description below and download my free packing guide. It has everything that a girl is going to need for her trip to Malaga. So during the day, there are a couple of things to do. A couple of things you cannot miss, like go to the beach. I mean, you are on the Costa del Sol with 300 days of sun, and there is nothing better than going to the beach and swimming in that ice-cold, salty Mediterranean water. The beach next to the city is called Malagueta, and it's a nice beach. It's a sort of charcoal sand looking, relatively easy to get in and out of, but I can't say it's my favorite beach I've ever seen on the Mediterranean. It is a city beach, and it's actually right next to the port. My suggestion is that you go down the road just a little bit and maybe go to La Caleta, or you go down the coast just a little bit further to some of the beaches that are a little bit further south. Everywhere I go in this world, I love to walk, and walking in Malaga is the thing to do. In the afternoon, you see everybody out on a paseo or a promenade, and they're walking up and down the pedestrian zone in Larios Street, or they're walking up and down the pedestrian zone along the beach, or actually walking along the beach. When I was in Malaga, I averaged about 15,000 steps a day just wandering around. It is such a wonderful city to wander around. If you're going to be walking around, especially in the afternoon, you have got to go walk up and down the port. Of course, it was an old port and it's been a city for thousands of years, but this port has been completely redone with some beautiful architectural elements. That's where you'll find some great little shops, and you will find some interesting drinks, and you will find the Pompidou Contemporary Museum there as well. Also from the port, you can take an evening charter with a bunch of people and go see the sunset from the water, or you can actually, I think you can, take a boat down to Morocco from this port. It's a great place to visit, the port, but I recommend that you only have a drink. I think that the best restaurants are back in the old part of town. Malaga is definitely one of the most delicious places I've ever been to eat. They are known for sardines and anchovies and shrimp, all kinds of shrimp, and langostinos and lobsters and calamari and oysters. I just cannot speak enough about the food that is available to you. The food was so amazing to me. I've actually created a video that is all about the food that you can eat while you're in Malaga. One thing you cannot miss is going to the Chiringuitos, which are the beach restaurants, and getting espetos. Espetos are the sardines that have been skewered and cooked over an open fire. You're supposed to eat the whole thing, including the head and the guts and everything else. I did a few of them, head and guts and everything, but a couple of them I cut the heads off, and a couple of them I actually took the bones out of the middle. But oh well, I'm a girl from Texas. What are you gonna say? A great thing to do is to go out around 7, 8 o'clock and go have a drink with friends. When you go to the restaurants in Malaga and in Spain in general, you're not going out to dinner until like 10 o'clock at night. If you go out at 9, you're gonna be the only people out there. You've gotta wait till 10 or 10:30. So as of 7:30 or 8 o'clock, you wanna go out and have drinks with friends. You can have vermouth, wine, beers, or what is Malaga is famous for is sweet wine. You can also get a drink called Tinto de Verano, which is a summer red, and it's actually a little bit of red wine, a little bit of ice, and a little bit of lemonade. A little too sweet for me, but I did give it a try. After you have had drinks with your friends, your next stop before dinner is to go to a flamenco show. I went to the original flamenco show in Malaga with the best flamenco dancers I have ever seen. I've seen them all over Spain, and these were by far the best. The name of the flamenco tableau was called CalyCanto. They have a show at 8 and another show at 10. I actually went to both shows because I thought they were fantastic. Honestly, the second show where they have all of the feeling and they have been working at it already was a little more powerful and a little stronger. So if you're gonna pick one, I would go to the 10 p.m. show. But guess what? Even if you go to the 10 p.m. show, you still have plenty of time to go to dinner, because then you're just going at 11:30. And it's still not too late. The restaurants are open. As I mentioned, the food in Malaga is phenomenal, but a couple of the restaurants that I recommend you trying while you're there is Casa Lola, which has great tapas. I recommend also going to Malizos, which had the best paella I may have ever had in my whole life. Of course, it's paella with mariscos, or it's a seafood paella, which is different than Valencia, where it's originally from. I also suggest that while you're in Malaga, you go to the market and eat the amazing foods that are available in the market. Of course, the market's not open at night. You have to go to the restaurants in the evening. But during the day, because I didn't mention it before, you got to go to the market. The last place that I recommend that you go to for dinner is El Pimpi. Very famous restaurant. It is overlooking the Roman ruins and is actually owned by Antonio Banderas. Antonio Banderas is from Malaga and he loves Malaga, and perhaps while you're at El Pimpi having dinner, you may run across him because his condo, he has a penthouse just above the restaurant. I recommend staying in Malaga 5 nights, 6 days. There's plenty to do in Malaga. In addition to staying in town, there are a couple of great day trips that I would recommend as well. The first is going to Caminito del Rey, which is actually the old hydraulic plants, and you're walking the path along the cliffs like the workers used to. It is very scary. Don't go there if you're afraid of heights. And if you want to see a little bit more about Caminito del Rey, I have put the link in the description below of my video about my day there. It was quite a day. Another day trip that I recommend that you go see is going to the town of Ronda. It is a beautiful town. It is the home, they say the home of bullfighting, and it's a great place to go for the day. So those are 2 recommendations just for day trips if you're here only about 5 nights, 6 days. So that sums up everything that you need to do while you're visiting Malaga, Spain. I am so in love with Malaga. I cannot wait to come back to this beautiful city. I am Kim, the Abundant Traveler, and I cannot wait to see you and share a drink and have some gambas with you next time I am in Malaga. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, and ring that notification bell. If you have any suggestions of what to do while you're staying in Malaga, leave it in the comments below. We all like to see what other people's suggestions are. So I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Again, I'm Kim, the Abundant Traveler. See you soon. Bye. And that's a wrap. I did it. I'm done. On to the next video. Make sure to watch them all, because I love doing this and I love sharing my ideas and tips and tricks to make your travels so much easier. That's why I do this, everybody. That's why I do it.